Assalamu alaikum, beautiful people. Welcome to another vlog. ਹੁਣ ਵੀਡੀਓ ਕਾਫੀ ਦਿਨਾਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਮੈਂ ਬਣਾਉਣਾ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਵਜ੍ਹਾ ਵੀ ਹੈ YouTube ਵਾਲਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਕੋਈ ਮਾੜਾ ਡਿਸਪਿਊਟ ਚੱਲੀ ਰਿਹਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਉਹ ਮਾੜਾ ਚੈਨਲ ਕੋਈ ਬੰਦਾ ਕੋ ਮੈਸ ਅਬਾਊਟ ਕਰਨਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਕੋਸਨੇ ਨਾਲ ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਉਸਨੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਚ ਕੋਈ ਚੈਕਿੰਗ ਕਰਨੇ ਲਗੇ ਇਨਵੈਸਟੀਗੇਸ਼ਨ ਕਰਨੇ ਲਗੇ ਵੇ so that's why I'm just uploading very less these days so now we're heading towards Bilal Jamia Masjid ਅੱਜ ਉੱਥੇ ਕੋਈ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਵੀ ਹੈ ਯੰਗ ਖਾਦਮਸ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਉਹ ਉੱਥੇ ਗਏ ਵੇ ਅੱਜ ਸਲੀਪ ਓਵਰ ਕਰਨੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਤੇ ਨਾਲੇ ਜੁਲੀ ਤੱਕਨੇ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਪਰ ਚੈੱਕ ਕਰਨੇ ਆ ਕੀ ਕਰਨੇ ਲੱਗੇ ਵੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਅੱਗੇ ਨਾਲੇ ਤੱਕਸਾਂ ਬਾਕੀ ਨਾ ਉੱਥੇ ਕੀ ਜੋਈ ਰਿਹਾ तो को हम मस्जिद अंदर क्या हाजरी हुई तो क्या बंदे खलते हुए माशाल्लाह माशाल्लाह और जनाब क्या हाल है शीख जी
क्या हाल है जनाब ठीक हो अल्लाह का शुक्र अपनी सुनाओ
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह जी अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह
माशाल्लाह
तुसा इथे दरवाजे के खलते हो कोई सिक्योरिटी करने हो कि क्या करने हो
नहीं असा भी आखने हैं कि तुसा अच्छो जी बिस्मिल्लाह अच्छो नाल नक्शे कदम असा भी टुरम तो अल्लाह ताला असा कबूल करो हाजरी सारी इथे दी
माशाल्लाह
एवरीवन वेलकम हियर वेलकम
माशाल्लाह तुसा इथे रॉचडेल ने कम्युनिटी ने जानी मानी शख्सियत हो ते बड़ा अच्छा काम करी रहे हो
ये असा भी कोशिश करने हैं कि चलो भाई लाई जी है कि जो भी सारे तफरीक होना कोशिश करें इंसान जो भी करेगी ना है ना जो असा मिट्टी ने पुतले हैं असा भी आगे जाना पूरा कुछ नहीं रहना इथे सही तफरीक को दो दायरे देते हैं अल्लाह ताला सही सलामत रखन तो कोशिश करी ना
माशाल्लाह हमने बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हो बहुत अच्छा
कोशिश करी ना ये भाई लाई ना कि कोशिश करी ना कि चलो असली अगली नस्ल जी आई उन्होंने सब थोड़ा मैसेज हो जाए
सही गल है जबरदस्त माशाल्लाह एक्सीलेंट एक्सीलेंट काम करने हो मैं उधर थोड़ा जो वुजू खाना तस्वीर माशाल्लाह अस्सलाम वालेकुम हजरत ये के तो को बिलाल मस्जिद में वुजू खाना माशाल्लाह ब्यूटीफुल वाओ एक्सीलेंट है क्या की चीज़ है अच्छा ये दसो हाँ ये क्या
जी ये भी जो बंदे अच्छा वुजू करना सो तो जो बंदे उठा नहीं बीच सकने स्ट्रगल करने कि बताए तकलीफ है अच्छा फिर खाली ना तो वो भी वुजू करेगी नहीं
अच्छा
जी
पैर शर्ट होने तो पूरा वुजू भी कर सकते
हैं पूरा वुजू है पैर जगह बनती है ना वाटर कम्स इन go straight down yeah इधर आई जाना इतना वुजू करेगी जो बंदे जो तकलीफ वाले बदल टंगा मस्ता लता मस्ता दक्करी तो वुजू करेगी नहीं
माशाल्लाह
so these facilities है
जबरदस्त जबरदस्त मतलब हर बंदे से डिफरेंट डिफरेंट फैसिलिटीज
आसान
सिंक उधर भी लगे हुए थे
हां उस पर से सिंक लाए हैं क्या वो ये शावर हो भी है पता नहीं खुली है कि नहीं लेकिन बंद है अच्छा एक बंदे ने कम अप्रोच ने सीधे डायरेक्ट नहीं कि शावर करेंगे तो वैसे चलाना जिले रोज़िया पीछे है आखिरी 10 तारीख जड़े बंदे रहने इत्तिकाफ में इत्तिकाफ से उन्हें वुजू करना पड़ा
जाहिर है सही
फ्रेश हो गया
माशाल्लाह
अब लगे निक्के मस्ते निक्के बच्चे जड़े इसने
अच्छा अच्छा
ता निक्के
हंसते निक्की जगह माशाल्लाह
निक्के बच्चे जड़े इसने पानी पीने से या निक्के वुजू करने आई थे निक्के बच्चे होने उन्हें जरिए भी है जो खली नहीं सकते
ठीक है फर्स्ट क्लास
है यार वुजू होना बनी रहा इंशाल्लाह लिफ्ट भी बनसी
अच्छा
बॉडियां उससे मैयत ऊपर जाया करसे बड़ी रहता साइड उस पर कितना है इंशाल्लाह अपराध भी है
ठीक है
इंशाल्लाह
recruiting for Mujahideen.
Grab the tripod.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम, क्या हाल है जनाब, ठीक हो?
ठीक ठाक हो गया
अल्लाह का शुक्र अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह। फिर साके पर नहीं कि कोलू दे और ठीक हो ना, ठीक ठाक।
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحان الله والتين والزيتون وطور سينين وهذا البلد الأمين لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم
سبحان الله
ثم رددناه أسفل سافلين
سبحان الله
إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات فلهم أجر غير ممنون
سبحان الله
فما يكذبك بعد بالدين أليس الله بأحكم الحاكمين صدق الله العظيم
سبحان الله
Because I'm not feeling too well, so join in. مولاي صل وسلم دائما ابدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم مولاي صل وسلم دائما ابدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم محمد سيد الكونين والثقلين والفريقين من عرب ومن عجم مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم هو الحبيب الذي ترجى شفاعته لكل هول من الأهوال مقتحم مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم يا ربي بالمصطفى بلغ مقاصدنا واغفر لنا ما مضى يا واسع الكرم يا ربي بالمصطفى بلغ مقاصدنا واغفر لنا ما مضى يا واسع الكرم مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم اللهم صل وسلم وبارك عليه وعلى آله الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيبنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأزواجه وذريته أجمعين أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والضحى والليل إذا سجى ما ودعك ربك وما قلى صدق الله العظيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. So, Brother Jamal invited me to come today and share with you some thoughts and reflections around mental health and well-being. And when he asked me to do this, he said, I want you to say that or discuss that in light of Surah Duha, and he's aware because I've discussed this surah many times before in this context. Now, I have half an hour, so inshallah I'm hoping to wrap up at 9:15. Before we go into the surah, we need to understand when we're looking at the Quran, is this the effect that listening to the Holy Quran can have on someone's anxiety as well? So what do I mean by that? Now, we know that in mental health disorders, the most common is anxiety. So you have so many disorders, right? Probably hundreds, and over time there'll probably be even more. But most common is anxiety. Because each and every single one of us who is sat here right now has experienced anxiety at some moment in their life. Some of you even today. When I say anxiety, it doesn't mean that you have to be having a panic attack or it's a really exacerbated situation. For example, let's say I was going somewhere today and I was getting late. If I'm getting late, well, how am I going to feel? I feel anxious, aren't I? If I get late, then this might happen and that might happen. That's anxiety. So it doesn't have to be something which is really, and really profound impact upon you. It's just a little niggling feeling that we have sometimes when we start panicking a little bit. So that's why anxiety is the most common. And there's growing research right now amongst researchers on how religion therapy can be used as a non-pharmacological intervention for anxiety management. What do I mean by that? So when we say non-pharmacological, what that means is if someone goes to the GP, goes to the doctor and says, I have anxiety, the system we live in, they're very quick to say, okay, take this tablet, and they'll take that tablet, and that's it, they'll go away. There's pros and cons with that. I'm not saying that doesn't have a place, but there can be side effects of that. And also, what does it do? What that person is feeling anxious about, have you actually dealt with that issue then? You haven't, have you? You've taken the medication. So oftentimes, the first port of call should be to actually see what is it that's actually creating that anxiety within you. And that's what we do in counseling. We discuss that, we explore that, we give them coping mechanisms, make changes to their lifestyle. And then if things are not working out, medication has its place after that. So there's research on how we can use religion therapy in that context. And some findings of studies have revealed that listening to the Holy Quran can have a positive effect in reducing anxiety, with conditions of course. So I say that because before we start talking about the Quran, I want you to ask yourself, how often, you might be thinking, yeah, I read the Quran regularly because mashallah I can see you're all about the age of teenagers, maybe you might be going madrasa. But how much time do you have where we're not reading it, but we just sat and we're listening to it attentively, and with hudur, with presence, because that can have an impact as well. And also, and I'll have to clarify this before this gets misinterpreted, music therapy has also been used throughout the centuries to counter all kinds of disorders by various peoples. Now, physicians and musicians in the Ottoman civilization were aware of music therapy. So, first let me clarify what I mean by music, but that's before we get some fatwa on this, right? So when we say music, first of all, I'm referring to poetry which doesn't have any profanity in it. poetry or words or music which doesn't have anything inappropriate. And scholars mention certain conditions for those type of poetry. So listening to those types of poetry and those sounds was actually part of an actual therapy in the Ottoman civilization. So what they used to call them the Maristans, yeah? And they used to have these, and in them, the psychiatry used to have one unit where they would actually treat patients by making them listen to certain things. So what might they have listened to? Okay, they might have listened to the Quran. They might have listened to natural sounds, sounds of birds, sounds of maybe the wind, rain, nature, and then positive poetry as well. So we know that sound and what we listen to has an impact upon how we feel. Yeah? So you know, if you're listening to a music track where someone's talking about how heartbroken they are, you might not even be heartbroken, but you feel like that after that. Yeah? And if you listen to something really upbeat, you know, and if you're feeling down, you'll slowly start picking yourself up, right? It's how it is. So what you listen to has an impact upon how you feel. And that's another thing I want you to think about right now. Who do I listen to? Family, friends, what type of people do I listen to? What type of advice are they giving me? And then when I am on YouTube and I am listening to whatever you're listening to, think, how is that impacting how I feel? Then reassess and think, can I change the person I'm listening to? Can I change the genre of music or poetry that I'm listening to? Yeah? So that's something to take into consideration. And now,
MashaAllah, that was our dear brother Samir Bhai, and for those of you that don't know, he's actually from Rochdale as well. And you know, where he was saying people will signpost you to other people who can perhaps help and guide you. He's MashaAllah local brother, so I would recommend all of you to keep in touch with him as well. How can they actually stay in touch with you, Samir Bhai? You know, any websites or any locations that they can
so
find you?
the website that I work from is called nuretherapy.co.uk or Instagram nude_therapy. So usually anything like that, referring people on, they email info@nuretherapy.co.uk. Inshallah will happen.
Inshallah. Jamal can pass that information on directly to each individual as well, because it's something which is in the elder community, the way they see things is different, mental health and stuff like that. MashaAllah, with Samir, I know from listening to him today, I know he'll definitely be able to help and guide you all in your future, in the next stages of your life as well, inshallah. And any information, help, advice you need, he'll always be there for you as well. Inshallah, what I'll be doing today is reciting a couple of kalams, and like Brother Samir was saying about a purpose, MashaAllah, you guys have taken time out to spend the night in the masjid with Brother Jamal, and inshallah we'll be having guests coming from various cities as well to recite and perform their kalams and their speeches and so on as well. So with everyone that's present at the moment, MashaAllah, you were listening very attentively. Do continue with that as well. Okay, the guests that we have, they see that there's a purpose for these youngsters to be in the masjid, and they are here seriously, and there's no messing about going on, especially overnight as well. This is something that we've carried out after a very long time in Rochdale, and with Brother Jamal organising this, it takes a lot of time, effort. Many people get involved behind the scenes, and sometimes people get let down, you know, permissions, elders giving permissions in the masjid, it's a big thing. So the fact that you guys are here, do make the most of that. And at the moment, what I would say is, before you go sleep, obviously, think of a purpose, think of a reason, or reflect upon something that you would like to take out of here as well. It's not just a sleepover and to make new friends. That's obviously part of it as well. They can try to think of something that you can take from here as well. And inshallah, in the next one that you organize, perhaps in a different masjid, then you can all sit down and take and share some of your thoughts and feelings as well amongst yourselves. But more importantly, try to take something from the masjid today as well. And that doesn't mean grab a book and leave quietly in the masjid looking for that book after you've gone. Take something spiritually and take something from each other as well. Again, not checking people's pockets when they're asleep, but speak to each other and learn about each other as well, because don't forget, we're one big massive ummah of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and there's many things that we can learn from each other. I've known Brother Samir for a very long time, and I've spoken to him many times, but I've actually never heard him speak about what he spoke about today, and I've learned so much from him. So speaking to people will always open up your minds and increase your knowledge as well. So inshallah, what we'll do now is recite a few ashar of Durood Sharif, and if anybody else would like to make a request or anything, inshallah, I'll hopefully be able to fulfill that as well. And then our other guests will be arriving as well. Durood Sharif. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina wa Mawlana Muhammadin. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina wa Mawlana Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa barik wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina wa Mawlana Muhammadin. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina wa Mawlana Muhammadin. Jithe mere Nabi da dera hai, uthe renda sada savera hai. Jithe mere Nabi da dera hai, uthe renda sada savera hai. Vich kabr de aaka aakhਣਗੇ, vich kabr de aaka aakhਣਗੇ, nu ਛੱਡਦੇ ਹੋਏ ਤੇ ਮੇਰਾ ਏ Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina wa Mawlana Muhammadin. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa barik wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina wa Mawlana Muhammadin. Jo gale lagaye adu ko bhi wo Rasool mera Rasool hai. Koi khali हाथ गया नहीं, कोई खाली हाथ गया नहीं, ये मेरे सखी का उसूल है. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina wa Mawlana Muhammadin. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina wa Mawlana Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa barik wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina wa Mawlana Muhammadin. Inshallah, I will recite a naat in English, which I written about 14-15 years ago. I don't read this much, but many people have actually asked me to share this with you today in this gathering. So inshallah, I will recite a few ashar of that. And as I was speaking about our guest, mashallah, our dear brother Imam Asim Sahib has arrived from Bradford, and he is a role model to many people, and mashallah, is gifted. When he speaks, people listen, and it has an impact, and it has changed many people as well. So it's a blessing, it's an honor for us to have him in the masjid today. And I hope all of you take something, as I was saying as well, take something from Imam Sahib as well. And also, if you have any questions as well, hopefully, inshallah, Imam Sahib will be happy to answer your questions as well. I will finish off with a few ashar of this kalam, and then, inshallah, Imam Sahib will be speaking to you then. O pride of creation, salutations upon you. 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 Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin. من ذار قبري وجبت له شفاعتي. من ذار قبري وجبت له شفاعتي. Call me to Medina, salutations upon you. Call me to Medina, salutations upon you. Pride of creation, salutations upon you. Pride of creation, salutations upon you. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin. Keep me under your mercy, keep me under your shadow, keep me under your mercy, keep me under your shadow, keep me under your mercy, keep me under your shadow, keep me under your service. Salutations upon you, keep me under your service. Salutations upon you. Pride of creation, salutations upon you. Pride of creation, salutations upon you. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin. Jazakallah. Thank you, all of you guys that have taken your time out and attended this event tonight, and inshallah we'll be leaving tomorrow. Jamal will obviously be guiding you throughout the timetables and how the process and the timings and everything will work.